Thanks very much to Michael and the rest of the Wenter team. And it's good to be along today as part of the support programme for businesses in Hertfordshire. So a quick bit about what we're going to do today. This is a summary of a workshop that we run when we invite clients along to deal with recruitment and retention. The two things are obviously related. The policies, that the way that you treat people and the way that you recruit people, if they're all aligned, that you develop the right culture that will both attract people and keep them. So brief bit about the Growth Hub. Obviously, this is a service provided by the Local Enterprise Partnership. It's delivered by ourselves at the Growth Hub. We're a small team of growth account managers, information advisors. We're really here to pick up with companies when they've actually proven their business model, established themselves in the marketplace, and are really looking to kick on. A lot of companies get to a stage where they arrive on a plateau, and hopefully with a bit of advice and encouragement, they can then move on and start to expand their business further. So all our support is free. It includes all the items that you can see at the bottom of the page there. So recruitment and retention best practice. This is all about building a team. Systemizing your business, putting processes in place and understanding your business model are obviously a critical element to producing a sustainable business. But to kick it on, if you've seen Michael's presentation on managing growth, you'll see the number of fee earners you can get into the business will actually increase the amount of money that everybody can earn from the business. And that's the way that you fuel the expansion of a business. To do that, you have to stop doing it all yourself and actually build a team that will actually help you deliver the services to your customer that they want, when they want them, at a price they're prepared to pay, and in the way that they want to receive those goods. So that's all part of the marketing strategy. That all has to be delivered through your people. So it's really important that you get the right people. At the moment, everybody that you will talk to will say that things are difficult at the moment. So how do you differentiate your business from everybody else out there? And the first thing that people tend to think of is that they tend to think that it's just about the price that you're going to pay, the value that you're going to add to the person who's joining you, the salary. There's a bit more to it than that. People aren't that simplistic. Of course, that's really important, but they're actually also looking for value from the work that they do. And your job, if you like, as the employer, is to create the environment and then sell the benefits of working to them. You really do have to think about this more in the context of what employees need that will then help you deliver what you need for your business. So a couple of things in there. You need to be competitive. You need to market to recruit people in the same way as you market to attract customers. And it's important to get that as your mindset. You as a leader in your business are there to support your team. Your team, if you look after them correctly, will generate the growth that you need within your business. Your business needs to stand out as a great place to work. You need to define a culture, think about the cultural values, and then understand what people think is important to them and that will attract them to you. So do this by a number of different techniques. Obviously, advertising is a big one. When you're thinking about recruiting people, the first thing to think of is, do I really need somebody? So hopefully you've gone through that process and you've looked at your systems and the way that you go out about business and worked out whether you actually genuinely do need to recruit somebody. It's expensive to recruit, and it obviously increases your overheads every time you recruit and bring people in. But it will help you expand your business. But do a quick check first. Just make sure that there's no systems that you can implement that will actually help. Just make sure that all the people in your organization are correctly deployed, including yourself, and that therefore you're making the most effective and productive use of the skills that you have available to you. Right, then you get to right now you've got to recruit. We've got to bring somebody in. What are we going to do? You need to advertise. You need to advertise through social media. You need to advertise through your own website. You need to advertise probably in public media, so local papers. You can advertise through job centres. It really is defined strictly by what you have defined is needed for you at that time. So there's a couple of don'ts in here that we'd like to talk about when you're advertising. Don't undersell your company, right? You are marketing your business to attract people. So sell your business to the people that you would like to join you. Don't create vague job titles. Try and be specific about what it is. Hopefully, by going through the rationalizing why you need to recruit somebody, you've got a good idea about what the actual job role will be. Communicate that. Communicate that when you're actually advertising for it. Don't be generic. Give some specific information about what would interest the individual to that role. And also think about them, not you. So don't give a long spiel about the company is the point we're making in there. Pick the bits that will interest your client, and that is your candidate. Don't keep telling people what you do. Attract them on what they will get by working for you. All right, so there's a few do's then, but obviously the counter to this. Showcase your company is a great place to work. Create a job title specific to the role and things to what the individual will be doing. Be specific about the duties the role will include. Outline the competencies and experience you expect the ideal candidate to have. Describe your company values. Really important that you actually communicate what you're about. Not just it's a job, you have a function to perform. You do have a role within the business, but how does that fit into the business? What is the importance to the individual? What reward will they get by doing the job well or working for you? Very important as well to identify what kind of environment in your advertising that you create. If it's a high pressure environment, then you need to indicate that it's a high pressure environment. When you recruit people, you want to attract people who want to work in a high pressure environment. If you create the impression that it's an easy job, then people will come in, and when they're under pressure, they'll struggle. So make sure that you focus on what it is that you're actually doing and that they might actually like to do with you. Always remember as well, last bit on here is focus on the candidate. It really is, get the t-shirt, it's not about you, it's actually about the person that you are trying to recruit. What's going to appeal to them? Selling your business to candidates, really important to do this. It's actually quite important to do this to the people that do work with you and are already in your business, and also to enable them to become advocates for your business. Best attraction to working in a company is when you see information about people who work for that company and you can see that they enjoy it, that they find it a positive environment, and it adds some value to what they're doing. They feel part of the team. Don't wait to start advertising a position just as roles come up. Always have something on your website or social media that you're interested in talking to people who've got a particular focus. And that focus will be specific to your business. People who like a challenge, people who are looking for a diverse range of jobs to do, or even some that are looking for a specific job role that they want to do. Bear in mind that people have got lots of different attitudes to life and to work. Some people just want to focus on something in detail. Other people want a broader palette of role to actually work with. Be authentic and include employee testimonials on your website. When you're actually advertising the roles, I know in our presentation here, we've used some stock photos. Try not to use stock photos. Try to get pictures of the people that actually work for you and use that in your advertising and your marketing to get people interested in your business. If you can, create your videos, give some typical career journeys for people that have worked for you or are working with you, to give an example that will actually attract people in and give them a good reason why they should come and work for you. Also remember as well that in advertising information, it can be quite bland. You've got a big long description of a job. A lot of it will apply, some of it won't. Try and make things a bit more pictorial. So include pictures. Picture speaks 1,000 words. Key steps to remember at the end of this little bit of the process. I'm going to pass on to Kieran in a minute, who's going to cover another couple of areas. But key steps to remember: on this when you are looking for the candidate. First of all, you think about it, you have to define what you mean by the right candidate. So many people that we talk to say, I can't find the right candidate, but they've never actually defined what the right candidate is. So you have to think about what that person is. What kind of personality will they be? What do they like? What do they dislike? What will challenge them? If you've got that in your mind, then you can actually start to look for the right people and decide where you're going to advertise, what sort of background they're going to have, what sort of job experiences they'll have. And also in that as well, remember first to hire on people's attitudes and behaviours, then worry about their technical competencies. Always get the cultural side of things out of the way first. So get the advert right. Make sure your company shows why it's a good place to work, not just tell people, show them. Conduct a professional planned interview process, show people the respect of actually going through a structured process where you can get lots of information. That doesn't mean one quick telephone call with somebody and then give them the job. It doesn't mean one interview. We would actually recommend, and in the workshop we have a whole process which we can go through with people of competency-based questioning, selection, even personality profiling if you really want to get to make sure that you select the right candidate. Following that, you then need to move on to a professional process of onboarding and inducting them into the business. Don't just bring people in, put them at a desk and away they go. That's no good for anybody. It's no good for you. It's no good for them. And then surprise, surprise, in 6 months' time, having spent all this time, recruiting and getting the right candidate, you've upset somebody because you actually haven't onboarded them correctly and inducted them into your business. So hopefully we're about 10 minutes through at the moment. I'm just going to try and exchange over to Kieran now so that he can complete and add some more information to the second part of the presentation.
Thank you, Steve. Hopefully this will be quite seamless. Bear with. Can everyone see my screen okay? Thumbs up, brilliant. So we've discussed, or Steve's mentioned the things to consider when advertising to attract recruits. But what I want to talk about very quickly, I'm going to rattle through this. Like everything else today, it's been condensed. So apologies for firing through this rather quickly in the time we have left. But making sure that you're leaving no stone unturned in the places that you are looking for potential recruits. Casting a wide as net as possible to find people to join your business. It's an increasingly competitive market employing people. It very much is an employee's world at the moment. So one thing that you could consider, if you haven't already, is when you have a vacancy, is to make that as attractive as possible, make that vacancy as flexible as possible. Is there an option to actually employ more than one person for one vacancy? Could you break it down into chunks? If that's relevant, of course, if that's appealing, and it often is appealing to would-be recruits. And whilst offering flexible working, or as I said, chopping it into a couple of part-time roles, that of course increases your resilience somewhat if you've got a number of staff able to do the same job. Considering a wider range of options to take on an apprentice, this itself is a massive area, so I'm going to rattle through that very quickly. Apprenticeships aren't just about taking on younger people. Apprenticeships are open to and increasingly taken up by people of all ages, of all levels, enabling them to progress in a formal way. You have degree apprenticeships and a whole galaxy of different types of apprenticeship too. It's a constantly changing area. It can be difficult to keep up with, but there is support, as with everything else we're going to mention, to help you understand it. And it's a totally viable option to enable you to have a trained and training workforce. And lastly, but by no means least, and again, this issue really does deserve far longer discussion, is looking at people with disabilities, registered disabled. There's an enormous amount of the UK working population are registered as disabled. There are so many myths that need to be busted around this, and there are places you can go to get that support through ourselves, which we're going to come to in a moment. But that is a real potential goldmine of recruits that you may be overlooking. Hopefully you won't be, but it's something to bear in mind. doing all of that can help you create a diverse workforce, and that is so important and so beneficial to any business. Having a diverse workforce increases your creativity. People with different backgrounds, different experiences can help you look at things, anything within your business, from different perspectives, and enable you to make better decisions, enable you to more confidently solve problems from different perspectives, and also consider your customers diverse, hopefully, more than likely. So having a diverse workforce will enable you to better interact with those customers and ensure that you're conveying and communicating what you do to them in a better way. Making sure, to sum up all of this, your recruitment process is configured properly to attract a diverse range of candidates, those that I've mentioned and others, is really important to make sure that when you fire out those adverts, that you're reaching absolutely everyone and giving everyone or giving yourself equal chances to recruit from all these different areas. I mentioned support. Come to us, come to Hertfordshire Growth Hub, come to Wenter. You will get that sort of advice. I just want to mention a couple of specifics. These slides will be emailed out. These are hyperlinks that you can click on. Step to skills, that's around accessing disabled employees, how to do it, an enormous level of support there, funded support, all sorts of schemes that you can access to help you do that, and lots of guidance. And as I said, really worth looking at to get the realities of the benefits you can get for your business in undertaking that. The Hertfordshire Opportunity Portal, as part of the Local Enterprise Partnership, basically absolutely everything to do with apprenticeships, employing, where to post adverts. They've got dedicated skills advisors, really worth looking at and making contact with them. And then of course you've got a whole network of universities and colleges across Hertfordshire and beyond that can provide you with direct access to a wide range of trained and training students. This is very important. Once you've got your staff, creating an inclusive and happy workspace, i.e. keeping hold of them. It's an employees market. People will obviously and always have moved jobs, change careers, certainly change employers from time to time. That will happen, but making sure that your retention, everything I'm going to talk about in a moment, your retention is up to scratch, will hopefully help you avoid exoduses, because this is obviously where you're going to incur costs where you need to replace vacancies. A lot of these things are obvious, but not necessarily done by everyone in business. Listening to your staff is so important. If you have a good workforce, they will tell you about what they feel, about how the business is operating. And it's really important to capture that and act on it. And of course, no one wants to work for an employer that doesn't listen to them. And it can also be the start of a real cascade of problems. If you're not listening to your staff, or you're listening to your customers, for instance, listen to your staff about what your customers want, because that's what they're telling them. Having a defined structure within your business to ensure that everyone is having one-to-one meetings, keeping in touch with their manager, sharing best practice is so important. Annual reviews and appraisals to get feedback on the work that you're asking your employees to do, and finding out how they view working for your business is so important. Added to that, there's little things you could do like anonymous surveys that will help you capture further feedback and insight. I've said this on every slide, this is so important. The culture of your business, you need to have this. This is allied to advertising the positions you have, because as Steve mentioned, the values and the benefits of working for your business will come through from the culture of that your business has. You may think, well, of course, it's a great place to work. You need to define it and have it on paper and indeed on the wall in a visual way, so that people can see what the culture is. As I said, these slides will be emailed through, so you're going to get cut off in a moment. But this is so important. There's so much work you can do to ensure that you are not only identifying your culture, creating a good culture, but in fact communicating that too. It's really, really important. If you don't get this right, you'll fall down in so many other areas. And of course, something slightly more obvious, are you actually rewarding your staff adequately? Are you paying them what the average is in your sector? Can you use benchmarking data to identify that? Look at the wider benefits package, annual leave, pensions, contributions. What's the canteen like? Does that need a refresh? Is it a nice place to work? And when appropriate and done correctly, really good team building events, away days, can strengthen the value employees feel in working for you, and also actually be used as a way of identifying how things are going and the talent you have. I think I've beaten the timer. We're going to have questions at the end, but thank you very much.